I died screaming into the storm that night, my father's taillights vanishing like a coward's promise as the rain swallowed me whole. 80 miles from home, soaked to the bone on that godforsaken stretch of I-40 in the Tennessee backwoods. I clawed at the car door he'd just shoved me out of, begging him not to leave me with her, his mistress. That venomous snake with her fake tears and sharper lies. But he did, accelerating into the downpour. And she finished it. One push. A slip on the slick asphalt. And I tumbled into the swollen creek below, the water closing over my head like a grave's cold handshake. The last thing I saw was her face, twisted in triumph, mouthing good riddance as the current dragged me under. Betrayed by the man who raised me, the woman I once called sister in spirit. Drowned for a secret I wasn't supposed to know, the fortune Dad had buried in offshore accounts, siphoned from Mom's cancer treatments, all to fund his double life. I was collateral, the loose end they couldn't afford. Then, nothing. Blackness. And suddenly breath. Heart pounding, eyes snapping open to sunlight streaming through faded curtains in my old bedroom, the one with the creaky floorboards and posters of Nashville rebels peeling at the edges. I was 16 again, tangled in sheets that smelled of teenage rebellion and cheap vanilla body spray. Not dead. Not even close. Rewound. Reborn in the body before the rain. Before the betrayal. With every jagged memory of that final night etched like acid in my veins. This time, Lucy Hale wasn't going to drown quietly. This time, I'd make them choke on their own poison. I bolted upright, gasping, my hands flying to my face, smooth, unscarred. The faint freckles across my nose that I'd always hated now a map to this second chance. The clock on my nightstand blinked 7:14 a.m. June 15th, 3 years before the storm. Mom was downstairs humming along to some Dolly Parton track on the radio, her voice thin but alive, not yet ravaged by the chemo that would claim her. Dad was in the kitchen, probably flipping pancakes with that easy grin, the one that hid the ledger of lies he'd start scribbling soon enough. My heart hammered like a freight train. I swung my legs over the bed, bare feet hitting the cool hardwood, and stared at the mirror across the room. There I was, wild auburn hair in a messy ponytail, green eyes wide with the fury of the grave. "Holy shit," I whispered, my voice cracking like it hadn't in years. This wasn't a dream. The scar on my knee from that bike wreck last summer? Still there, pink and puckered. But the knowledge? That was mine alone now, the affair with Carla, his business associate from the Knoxville firm, the embezzlement from Mom's trust fund, the way they'd plot my accident when I stumbled on the emails. Too nosy for my own good, at 19. I laughed, a sharp, bitter sound that echoed off the walls. Revenge tasted like bile and honey on my tongue. But I couldn't rush it. Not yet. Dad was good, too good, at playing the long game. I had to be smarter, colder. First, play the part. The dutiful daughter. The innocent girl who didn't know her world was a house of cards waiting for the wind. Downstairs, the smell of bacon hit me like a warm slap. Mom turned from the stove, her smile lighting up the room like she hadn't just been handed a death sentence in my first life. "Morning, sleepyhead. You look like you've seen a ghost." I forced a grin, sliding into my chair. "Weird dream. That's all." Dad ruffled my hair as he set a plate in front of me, his touch casual, affectionate. If only he knew the ghost was sitting right here, plotting his downfall. "Big day ahead," he said, winking. School's out, but I've got that client meeting in town. Carla's tagging along, sharp as a tack. That one. You'll like her when you meet.
Carla.
The name slithered through me like ice water. I nodded, shoving down the urge to smash the plate over his head. Can't wait. The day blurred into a haze of normalcy that felt like sandpaper on my soul. I wandered the neighborhood, kicking gravel on the cracked sidewalks of our sleepy suburb outside Memphis, the humid air thick with cicada hum and the distant rumble of semis on the interstate. Kids my age, 16 and invincible, lounged on porches, blasting hip-hop from Bluetooth speakers, dreaming of college scouts and escape. In my old life, I'd been one of them, cheer captain with a scholarship to Vanderbilt on the horizon, until Dad's secrets turned me into a liability.
But now?
I had intel they couldn't dream of. I knew the timeline. Dad starts the affair in July, after Mom's first bad scan. Carla worms her way in, all Southern charm and calculated whispers, convincing him to cook the books at his accounting firm. By fall, Mom's treatments drain the savings, and he dips into the trust, $250,000 meant for my future. For the family. I find out sophomore year of college, confront him, and boom, the road trip gone wrong. They stage it as a tragic hitchhiker pickup, me the victim of circumstance. Cops buy it because Dad's the grieving father, Carla the heartbroken friend. No more. This Lucy was a ghost with a grudge. That afternoon, I dug through Dad's study while he was out. The safe was laughably simple, birthdays for the combo, and inside, nothing yet but tax files and Mom's jewelry. But I planted my first seed, a tiny USB drive. Swiped from my room, future me's tech-savvy paying off. Loaded with dummy files labeled Client Audit 2023. I'd fill it later with forgeries. Breadcrumbs leading straight to his eventual sins.
For now,
it was a Trojan horse. Dinner was a minefield of small talk. Mom chattered about her garden club. Dad joked about traffic on Poplar Avenue. I watched him, really watched, the way his eyes darted when Mom mentioned bills. The subtle flex of his jaw. He was already cracking. The pressure of her illness a shadow he hadn't voiced yet. Lucy. Honey, he said, passing the cornbread. You've been quiet. Everything okay at school? I met his gaze. Steady as a loaded gun. Just thinking about the future. You know, making sure it's secure. He chuckled, but it didn't reach his eyes. That's my girl. Always planning ahead. If he only knew. Nights were the worst. I'd lie awake, replaying the drowning, the burn in my lungs, the betrayal etching deeper than the water. Sleep came in fits, haunted by what-ifs. What if I told Mom now, warned her about the affair? But no. That would butterfly affect everything. Maybe save her, but doom me to a different hell. Patience. I reminded myself. Build the case. Make them destroy themselves. A week in, Carla entered the picture. Dad brought her to the house for dinner with the family, her laugh like shattered glass as she hugged Mom too tight. Complimented the meatloaf with that fake as a $3 bill drawl. She was 32, polished in a sundress that screamed Knoxville debutante, blonde hair cascading like a shampoo ad. In my first life, I'd envied her poise, even crushed a little when she took me under her wing as a mentor. Big mistake. Lucy, right? She said, air-kissing my cheek. Your dad's told me all about you. Future lawyer.
Huh?
Or was it doctor? Accountant. I corrected, smiling sweetly. Like Dad. Gotta keep those books balanced. Her eyes flickered. Just a hair. But I caught it. The hook was set. As summer dragged on, I shadowed them. Fake internships at Dad's firm. Helping with filing while eavesdropping on calls. I learned their rhythm. Late nights at the office. Client dinners that stretched till dawn. Mom faded. Her energy sapped by doctor visits. Oblivious to the storm brewing. I played the supportive daughter. Fetching meds. Braiding her hair. All while forging documents in the dead of night on the family laptop. Altered emails. Backdated transfers hinting at fraud before it even happened. One evening, as thunder rumbled outside like a warning, I confronted my reflection again. "You're doing this for her," I whispered. For Mom, who deserved better than a grave and a liar's eulogy. For the girl I was. Too trusting. Too breakable. But deep down, a sliver of doubt gnawed. Was this justice? Or just vengeance wearing a halo? The first real move came in August. Dad's birthday barbecue. Backyard smoke curling into the dusk. Neighbors toasting with cheap beer. Carla was there. Of course. In cut-off shorts that turned heads. Laughing at Dad's jokes like they were gold. I waited till the grill flared. Pulled her aside by the fence. "Hey,
Carla."
can I ask you something?" She tilted her head, all concern. "Sugar. Anything. You're close to Dad."
Like,
"Really close." I let the words hang. Innocent as pie. Her smile tightened. "He's a good man." "Your mama's lucky."
yeah.
"But what if he's not? What if he's hiding things?" I leaned in, voice dropping. For her sake. She blinked, then laughed it off. "Darling, you're imagining shadows. Go grab another hot dog." But the seed was planted. Doubt in her eyes now.
Mirroring mine.
That night, as rain pattered the roof, a prelude to the big storm, I hacked Dad's email from the public library computer. No traces. Nothing incriminating yet. But I sent an anonymous tip to the firm. Check Harlan's offshore logs. IRS is watching. Fabricated. But enough to make him sweat. He came home the next day rattled. Snapping at Mom over nothing. Damn audits. Like I don't have enough on my plate. I watched from the stairs, heart steady. The unraveling had begun. Fall crept in like a thief. Leaves turning gold and crimson along the Mississippi bluffs. But the chill in our house was bone deep. Mom's diagnosis hit official, stage 3. The doctor's words hanging like fog in the living room. She cried quietly into her tea. Dad paced with promises of the best care money can buy, and I held her hand, memorizing the fragility of her fingers, knowing in 3 years she'd be ash if I didn't rewrite the script. School started back. A grind of algebra and pep rallies that felt trivial against the war in my head. I aced tests with ease, future knowledge a cheat code, but my mind was elsewhere. Mapping the minefield. Carla was a fixture now. Helping with Mom's appointments. Her perfume lingering like a bad omen. I'd catch her and Dad in stolen glances over coffee. Her foot brushing his under the table. It boiled my blood. But I smiled. Played the grateful kid. "You're a rock, Carla," I said one afternoon, folding laundry while she chopped veggies for soup. "Dad's lucky to have you around," she preened, knife pausing. "Family's everything."
Lucy.
"Speaking of, your dad's been stressed." Firm's breathing down his neck about some audit. I nodded, feigning sympathy.
Yeah.
He mentioned. Offshore stuff.
Right?
Sounds complicated. Her knife slipped, nicking her thumb. She sucked the blood, eyes sharp. Where'd you hear that? Overheard him on the phone.
Lie.
Smooth as silk. You know Dad thinks I'm still a kid. She bandaged it quick. Laugh brittle. Kids grow up fast these days.
Just.
Don't worry your pretty head. But I did. And I made her worry too. That night, I escalated. Another anonymous email. This one to her personal account. A forged memo from the firm head. Harlan's discrepancies flagged. Cooperate or face charges. Attached, a blurry screenshot of evidence. Numbers I'd cooked up to match his future embezzlement. Her reaction was gold. Next morning at breakfast, she cornered Dad in the garage while I forgot my backpack. Someone's gunning for you, baby. We gotta be careful. Dad's voice. Low and tense. It's nothing. Probably a rival. I'll handle it. You better. I didn't sign up for jail time. The paranoia bloomed like kudzu. Dad started double-checking locks, shredding papers in bursts of frenzy. Mom noticed. Of course, her intuition sharper than her fading strength. What's eating at him?
Luce.
I shrugged, helping her into bed.
Work.
You know how he gets. She squeezed my hand, eyes searching. And you seem different. Older. Ghosts age you.
Mom.
Just growing up. Promise I'll always have your back. She smiled, drifting off to morphine dreams. I slipped out, drove the old Civic to a payphone in Germantown, untraceable, and called the tip line for elder fraud. Anonymous concern. Harlan Hale. Accountant. Suspect he's dipping into clients' medical funds. No proof yet. But ripples. Ripples turned to waves by October. Dad's firm suspended him pending review. The audit uncovering irregularities I'd seeded months early. He came home hollow-eyed, blaming corporate bullshit, but the cracks showed late nights not at the office, but at dive bars, drowning suspicions in whiskey. Carla stuck close, her loyalty a leash, whispering strategies in his ear. I played double agent. At school, I joined debate club, honing arguments like weapons, ethics, betrayal, the cost of greed. Friends ribbed me for being intense, but it sharpened my edge. Home. I was the buffer, cooking meals, ferrying Mom to chemo, all while eavesdropping on their hushed fights. You're slipping, Harlan, Carla hissed one night through the wall. I pressed my ear to plaster. Breath held. That girl's too smart. She's asking questions. Lucy's fine. She's a kid. Kid? She's got eyes like a hawk. And that email? It mentioned the Caymans.
How?
Silence. Then we'll manage. Like always. But they couldn't. I leaked a confession audio, my voice modulated to sound like Dad, admitting skimmed funds for personal reasons, uploaded to a burner Reddit account, cross-posted to finance forums. The internet being the beast it is, it snowballed. Corrupt accountant exposed? Comments piled on. Anonymous sleuths digging. Dad's phone blew up. He smashed it against the counter that night, shards flying like his temper. Mom flinched in her chair, and for a split second, guilt stabbed me. Was I breaking him too soon? But then I remembered the rain. The push. Her face.
No merci.
Carla cracked first. She confronted me at the mall. where I'd accidentally bumped into her shopping for lingerie. Subtle dig. Lucy, we need to talk. We sat in the food court, Cinnabon steam curling between us. Her makeup was flawless, but her hands trembled. Your dad's in trouble. Real trouble. You love him, right? More than anything.
Truth.
Twisted. Then help me help him. Whatever you heard, forget it. For your mama. Leverage. I leaned forward, voice honeyed venom. Heard? Like about the affair? Or the money you're both laundering through mom's treatments? Her face drained of color. What? Don't play dumb.
Carla.
I know everything. The emails.
The trips to Nassau.
How you convinced him to bury the trust fund so you two could run off once she's gone. She grabbed my wrist, nails digging. You little bitch. You think you can. I yanked free, smiling cold. I think I already have. Walk away now, or I go public. With proof. She released me, eyes wild. You wouldn't. Destroy your own family? For mom? Watch me. She left in a huff. But the seed festered. That weekend, she tried to poison the well, told Dad I was unstable, seeing a therapist for anger issues. He bought it halfway, pulling me aside for a heart-to-heart.
Luce. Carla says you've been distant.
Talking about secrets. I teared up on cue, method acting from hell. Dad.
I'm scared.
Mom's sick. And I feel like things are falling apart. The money. Where's it all going? He hugged me. Stiff. It's handled. Trust me.
Ida.
But Carla. She's not family. He pulled back. Brow furrowed. What are you saying? Just be careful. Snakes in the grass. The doubt lodged deep. Their fights escalated, accusations flying, doors slamming. Mom's health dipped, infections from the ports. But I fought for her. Second opinions. Experimental trials funded by my secret savings raided Dad's wallet like a pro. She rallied, color returning, while their empire crumbled. November brought the subpoena. Feds at the door, badges gleaming, hauling files from Dad's study. He went white, stammering denials, Carla vanishing into the guest room like a ghost. Mom clutched my arm, whispering, "What's happening?" "Justice," I murmured, holding her close. Interrogations dragged. Dad lawyered up, but the forgeries held, irrefutable in their faked authenticity. Carla flipped first, offering immunity for testimony. It was his idea. I just got caught up. Liar. But it gutted him. Bail denied. Headlines screaming, "Memphis accountant steals from dying wife's fund." Neighbors whispered. Church ladies clucked. I shielded Mom, spinning it as mistaken identity, but inside, triumph burned. Yet the road trip loomed. In this timeline, with the fraud exposed early, they had no money to flee.
Despression bred danger.
One stormy December night, echoes of the original, Dad called from jail. Voice breaking. Loose. Get Carla. Tell her to burn the drives. Please. I hung up, turned to her in the kitchen. Rain lashing windows. He knows you're talking to the cops. She spun, knife in hand from dinner prep. You set this up. You witch. The push came then, not fatal, but close. I dodged, grabbing her arm, twisting till the blade clattered. It's over.
Carla.
Run. Or rot. She fled into the night, but not far. Cops nabbed her at a bus station. Purse stuffed with cash, his cash. Christmas came wrapped in barbed wire. Mom hung lights with trembling hands, the chemo tree a skeletal glow in the window, while I fielded calls from reporters sniffing for the tragic family angle. Dad rotted in county lockup. Carla in a cell 2 blocks over. Their affair splashed across the commercial appeal like tabloid fodder. Lover's betrayal. Man steals from ailing wife. The irony? In my first life, they'd spun my death as their alibi, grieving partners bonding over loss.
Now.
Loss was their sentence. I thrived in the chaos. A phoenix in flannel. Mom's treatments shifted to a clinical trial in Nashville, my doing. Anonymous donation from liquidated gifts I'd intercepted from Dad's accounts. Her scans improved, tumors shrinking like lies under cross-exam. It's a miracle, she breathed one frosty morning. Snow dusting the azaleas outside. You're the fighter, Mom. I kissed her forehead, tasting salt of tears held back. Miracles were manufactured. In my case. School buzzed with pitying stares. That's the girl whose dad's a crook, but I owned it. Channeling the stares into fuel. Debate team nationals? Crushed it. Arguing white-collar crimes ripple on innocence with a fire that scorched judges. Scouts whispered Vanderbilt early admission. I nodded. Plotting bigger escapes. Dad's trial loomed in January. A circus of suits and subpoenas. I testified. Voice steady on the stand. He promised security. Instead, he stole it from her. From us. The jury, blue-collar folks from the Delta. Ate it up. Eyes hardening at the exhibits. Ledgers red with theft. Emails laced with Carla's encouragements. Do it for us, baby. Freedom's worth the risk. Carla's testimony was the gut punch. Dressed in orange jumpsuit chic, she sobbed for the camera. I loved him. He manipulated me, said it was temporary. For the family. Bullshit. But it painted her the victim. Him the villain. Dad glared from the defense table. His once silver hair now a disheveled crown of thorns. Cross-exam? My prep paid off. The prosecutor, a shark named Ruiz, who'd I tipped anonymously, grilled her. MS. Jenkins. These texts from June. Push the transfers now. Before the girl catches on. Who's the girl? She stammered. Sweat beading. Lucy?
No.
A client. The defendant's daughter. And this one, if she snoops, we'll handle it like the road trip. Explain. The courtroom hushed. Her eyes darted to me. Venom veiled as fear. Fabricated. Someone's framing us. Ruiz slid a printout my way, my masterpiece. Timestamps irrefutable. Your IP.
Mom.
From your laptop. Gasps rippled. Dad's head snapped up.
Meeting my gaze for the first time.
Accusation?
No. Confusión.
Dawning horror. As if he saw the grave in my eyes. Verdict. Guilty. 20 years for Dad. 15 for Carla. Conspiracy. Fraud. The works. Sentencing was a spectacle. Mom in the gallery. Frail but fierce. Reading her victim impact statement. You vowed forever. Harlan. Instead, you buried us alive. Her voice cracked on the last word. And for a heartbeat, I pitied him, the man who'd bounced me on his knee, taught me to fish the Wolf River. He wept then, snot-nosed and broken, mumbling, I'm sorry, to the bench. Carla? stone-faced till the gavel fell. Then a wail that echoed like my drowning screams.
No.
Lucy, you did this. Bailiff dragged her out. But not before she lunged. Spitting. Vindictive little. Enough, the judge barked. Mom gripped my hand, whispering, proud of you.
Baby.
Outside. Flashbulbs popped like gunfire. I shielded her. No comment, just a stonewall stare for the cameras.
Inside.
Elation warred with emptiness. Revenge delivered. But the hole in my chest, still raw. Spring thawed the ground, but not the fallout. Mom rallied, hair sprouting in soft curls, energy for garden walks and porch swings. We sold the house, too haunted by ghosts, and moved to a bungalow in Midtown, closer to Vanderbilt. I enrolled early, majoring in forensic accounting, a middle finger to Dad's legacy. Letters came from prison. Dad's first, scrawled pleas for forgiveness. I never meant to hurt you.
Carla.
She twisted me.
Bull.
But I read them in the dead of night, shredding each with ritual care. Carla's venomous rants. You think you're clever?
Roten hell.
Traitor. One evening, as fireflies danced in the yard, Mom broached it.
Luce.
Before the trial. You changed. Like you knew what was coming. Chills prickled my skin. Mom. She waved it off, eyes twinkling. Intuition. Or angels. Either way, you saved us. Angels, try drowned souls. But I hugged her tight, inhaling lavender and life. The twist hit in June, anniversary of my rebirth. A package arrived. No return address. Dad's old watch. Engraved to Lucy. My world. Inside. A note. Found this in evidence. Knew you'd want it. Carla's talking, says you planted it all.
How? Love.
Dad. My blood froze. She'd figured it, not the how, but the why. In lockup whispers, she'd piece my anomalies, the precog tips, the forgeries too perfect. Paranoia? Or truth sniffing close? I burned the note. But sleep fled. What if they appealed? What if Mom learned I'd orchestrated? Not just uncovered? The revenge. So sweet. Soured with risk. Summer sweltered. Vanderbilt orientation, a whirlwind of orientations and orientations, freshman mixers. Syllabi stacks. I thrived, but shadows lingered. Carla's appeal hearing loomed, her lawyer sniffing for entrapment via mysterious leaks. Then, the call, Ruiz. The prosecutor. Lucy, off-record chat. Your tips. They were gold, but Carla's claiming coercion. Says you had access to her devices. How'd a kid pull that? Library computers. I lied smooth. Public records. He chuckled. Smart. But watch your back. She's unhinged. Unhinged enough for what? Parole boards whispered early release for good behavior. Dad? Buried deeper. But her? A viper with time. The storm broke in July, literal and lit. Thunderheads piled over the river as I drove home from campus. Wipers slapping rain like accusations. 80 miles out?
No.
But the echo chilled. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Voicemail, Carla's voice. Raspy from tears or smokes. You think it's over? I know what you are. A freak. Come see me. Or I tell your mama everything. Shelby County. Visiting hours tomorrow.
Bait.
But I bit. Revenge unfinished meant loose ends. Mom was asleep when I left at dawn. Note, errand. Love you. The jail loomed gray against the haze. Barbed wire glinting like teeth. Visiting room. Plexiglass divide. Her face gaunt. Eyes feral. Sit. I did, picking up the receiver. Talk. She leaned in, breath fogging the barrier. How? Lucy? How'd you know the emails before they existed? The codes? It's not normal. I smiled.
Cold.
Call it a hunch. Bullshit.
You're wrong. Cursed.
I pushed you once, felt it. But you came back. Her whisper cracked. What are you? The room spun. She'd seen? In the original push. A hallucination? Or truth-bleeding timelines? Doesn't matter, I said. You're done. She laughed. Manic. Appeals granted. Witness tampering, you're tampering. I'll walk. And when I do, threat hung. But her eyes, fear, not just hate. Harlan cries at night. Your name. Says he dreamed you drowned. Warned him. Twist knifed deep. Dad's letters. The watch, guilt. Or premonition shared. I stood. Rot here. Or out there, cops'll be waiting. Back home. Mom waited. Worry lines etched. Where were you? Closure. I hugged her. Resolve hardening. But the real storm brewed. Carla walked, technicality on evidence chain mid-August. Headlines, accountant's lover freed on appeal.
Panic? No.
Preparation. I had contingencies, final leaks, affidavits stacking against her perjury. Yet doubt crept. Was my meddling birthing a worse monster? The confrontation came unbidden. Rain-slicked night. 80 miles from Memphis on I-40, fate's cruel loop. I was heading back from a Nashville seminar. Wipers battling the deluge. When taillights flashed ahead, her beat-up Accord stalled on the shoulder. A coincidence? Or trap? I pulled over, heart thundering. She stumbled out,
Soaked.
eyes wild in headlights. Help me. I stepped into the storm, rain plastering hair to skull. Why should I? Because I know. She lunged, not with fists but words.
You're dead.
I killed you. But here you are. Lightning cracked, illuminating truth. You remember? Fragments. The push. The creak.
Then.
Nothing. Till now. Tears mixed with rain. Harlan too. Dreams. Is it real? Multiverse madness? Or my echo rippling back? Doesn't change facts. You betrayed us. She crumpled, sobbing. I was scared. Greedy.
But you.
You're a miracle. Or demon. Decision point, mercy or blade. Controversial calculus, kill the past, or let it fester. I offered my jacket. Get in. I'll drive you back. Betrayal's weight lifted. Fractionally. But as thunder rolled, I gripped the wheel, plotting the final turn. The drive back was a confessional on wheels, rain sheeting the windshield like absolution denied. Carla huddled in the passenger seat, mascara rivers carving her cheeks, spilling sins in staccato bursts. It started innocent, Harlan venting about the bills. The fear. I listened.
Then. More.
The money was easy. Numbers on a screen. But you always you. The wild card. I kept eyes on the road, white lines blurring into fate's thread. Wild card, I was his daughter. You were in the way. Her voice broke. When you hacked the emails, God. How'd you even? We panicked. The trip was supposed to be a warning. Drop you off. Scare you silent. But the storm. I slipped. Pushed too hard. Slipped. The word ignited old rage. But cooler now. Tempered by the impossible, her memory. You saw me die? Flashes. Your face underwater. Eyes accusing. Woke screaming. But Harlan gaslit me. Just guilt. Then the trial. Your forgery's too perfect. Like you scripted it. She twisted the jacket hem. What are you?
Lucy?
Reborn. Survivor. Half-truth. What's your play now? Run? Testify against him for real? She laughed.
Hollow.
Too late. Appeals my out. But feds watch.
And you?
You'd bury me again. Damn right. Silence stretched, punctuated by wiper thwacks. Mercy tempted, her breakdown raw, humanizing the monster. But trust? Shattered glass. Memphis lights pierced the gloom, billboards for blues clubs mocking our tragedy. I pulled into a Waffle House lot, neon buzzing like nerves.
Eat.
Then decide. Inside. Grease and coffee haze. We sat in a booth sticky with history. She ordered hash browns. I Black Joe. Why help? After everything? Loose ends. And deeper. Proof I wasn't the villain. Mom's face in my mind. Forgiveness her creed. Not mine.
Yet.
She ate mechanical. Then, Harlan's breaking. Writes me. Begs to confess fully. Clear your name from the lies. Says he dreamed the drowning too. Shared nightmare.
Chills.
Timeline bleed? Or collective guilt manifesting? Write him back. Tell him to rot in peace. Her eyes softened. You're stronger than us. Ever think? Maybe we deserved a second chance too. Controversial fork. Redeem or ruin. I slid a napkin across. Sign this. Full confession. Notarized. Immunity's gone. But truth might shave years. She stared, then scrawled names, dates. The push detailed as a fever dream. For what? Closure. I pocketed it. Paid the bill. Drop her at a motel. Anonymous call to Ruiz. Package incoming. She hugged me awkward at the door. Thank you.
Or sorry.
Both. Save it for the judge. I drove off. Rain easing to mist. Heart lighter but scarred. Fall bloomed triumphant. Mom's remission declared. Scans clean. A statistical anomaly docs marveled at. We celebrated with beignets at the rendezvous. Barbecue ribs dripping sauce like victory. To new beginnings, she toasted. Plastic cup raised. Vanderbilt swallowed me whole. Lectures on ethics, ironic. Internships at DA offices. Dissecting frauds with surgical glee. Dad's appeals tanked. Bolstered by Carla's flip, her confession videoed. Tearful. Implicating him fully. The push was no accident, she admitted on stand. Guilt ate me. But she lived somehow.
Courtroom gasp.
Dad crumpled. No defense left. Life sentence. No parole. His last letter. If dreams are truth, forgive the man who failed you. I see it now. The rain. Your scream. Wish I could have saved you then. I framed it. Unopened. In my dorm. Forgiveness? Maybe someday. Carla? Community service? House arrest, deal for the video. She vanished to Chattanooga, rehabbing per tabloids. Last I heard, counseling embezzlers. Ironic redemption arc. Twists echo faded, but questions lingered. Was I anomaly or architect? Mom thrived, dating a widower from book club, gentle,
Honest.
I graduated top tier. FBI knock on the door. Heard you're a ghost at cracking cases. Call it intuition. They recruited, I signed. Badge heavy with purpose. Years blurred. Busts in Nashville. Takedowns in New Orleans. Always the underdog's avenger. Mom's wedding small. Joyful. I walked her down the aisle. Dad's absence a shadow long gone. One stormy night. Decades on. I, 40 shoulder called. Pulled over. Rain drumming hood like memory. Stepped out. Let it soak me, no push. No drowning. Just life. Reclaimed. What happened next? They cried out in cells. In regrets. In the silence of what-ifs.
But me?
I breathed free. The girl from the grave, now guardian of truths unspoken. Second chances aren't gifts, they're weapons. Wielded sharp. And in America's heartland sprawl, under endless skies, I ran toward whatever storm came next. Unafraid.